Shanti Sarabhai.
Om Shanti, good morning. Today we will revise Baba's Murli of 30th January 1988. The title of the Murli is The Second Step of Courage is Tolerance. The second step of courage is tolerance. Life story of Brahma Baba. Baba says today, the Almighty Authority Father is seeing his first elevated creation. The first creation is of Brahmins, and Brahma is said to be the first number of the first creation. Because of being the first number of the first creation, Brahma is called Adidev. There is also a memorial of this name, Adidev, on Abu mountain. He is called Adidev, that is, the first creation. And as well as that, Adidev also means that he is the first number deity at the start of the new world. It is Brahma who becomes the first deity in the form of Sri Krishna. This is why he is called the first deity at the start of the new world. At the confluence age too, he is the first number of the first creation. That is, whether you call him Adidev or Brahma, he is the creator of Brahmin souls. So he is the first one at the confluence age and also at the start of the world. And so he is called Adi Dev. It is Brahma who becomes the first Karmatit angel. Brahma becomes an angel, and that angel becomes a deity. He is number one in everything. How did he become number one in this way? With what method did he attain number one success? All of you Brahmin souls have to follow Brahma. What do you have to follow in him in? We have already been told about his first step of surrender. He demonstrated this too in his first step by surrendering in every way. The second step is tolerance. When he surrendered himself, of course, he received the most elevated inheritance from the Father. But what did he receive from the people of the world, who were showered with the most insults? Even though you souls were insulted or assaulted, it was Brahma who continued to receive the most anger. In his Lokik life, he had never heard a bad word. But when he became Brahma, he became number one in having to hear bad words. He had led a life where he received the most love from everyone. But to the extent that he was loved by everyone in his Lokik life, everyone became his enemy in his Alokik life. When some children were assaulted, that was automatically also an assault on the father indirectly. However, with the virtue of tolerance or with the inculcation of tolerance, he remained smiling. He never wilted. To smile when someone praises you is not being tolerant. However, to remain smiling at a time when someone becomes an angry enemy and rains insults on you, and you do not show the slightest sign of wilting on your face or even in your thoughts, that is said to be having tolerance. To see, speak, and start a connection with merciful feelings with an enemy soul is called having tolerance. In the task of establishment and of doing service, there were sometimes small and sometimes big storms. As a memorial in the scriptures, they have portrayed Mahavir Hanuman carrying such a big mountain on the palm of his hand, just like a ball. In the same way, no matter if the problem, obstacle, or storm seems like a big mountain, a mountain means to make a big thing into a small toy and overcome it as you would in a game. Or he made anything big become something very light. He remained light himself, and he also made others light. This is called tolerance. He didn't make a small stone into a mountain, but made a mountain into a ball. He put the expansion into its essence. This is tolerance. To expand obstacles and problems in your mind or to speak about them to others means to make mountains. However, he did not go into expansion, but with the full stop of nothing new. He put a full stop and moved forward. This is called putting expansion into its essence. An elevated, tolerant soul is always able to put expansion, problems, and obstacles into their essence with knowledge and yoga, just as Brahma Baba did. When you go on a long route, it flakes up all your time and energy. That is, a lot more of both are used. In the same way, expansion is the long route, and the essence is achieved by taking a shortcut. Both are able to go across, but because those who take a shortcut are able to save their time and energy, they don't become disheartened. They constantly enjoy themselves and overcome everything with a smile. This is called tolerance. So Baba is describing what tolerance really means and how Brahma Baba demonstrated it in his actions. So to smile when you're being insulted and really put expansion into essence, to stay light, make others light is tolerance. Baba says, someone with the power of tolerance would never be afraid or think, does this also happen? Because of being constantly full, he will go into the depths of knowledge and remembrance. Someone who is afraid is never able to go into the depths. One with essence remains constantly full. This is why there is depth in something full. One with expansion is empty. This is why something empty always rattles. So someone with expansion would constantly continue to rattle on with thoughts such as, why this? What is this? It shouldn't be like this, but like this. It should not be like this. He would continue to rattle on in this way in his thoughts and in his words too. He would still constantly rattle on in front of everyone. What happens when you rattle on endlessly? You rattle on, you become breathless, and you tire yourself out. Those who are tolerant are saved from all of those things. And this is why they always enjoy themselves. They don't rattle on, they fly. So, no questions, no rattling, but just to fly. The second step of tolerance. So, I said the first step was surrender, and the second step was tolerance. Brahma Baba demonstrated this by taking this step. He always remained unshakable and immovable. He always enjoyed himself in an easy way and didn't have to labor. The children who did 14 years of tapasya experienced this. Did you feel it was 14 long years? Or did you feel it was just like a few moments? Did you enjoy it? Or did it feel like hard work? Baba took many test papers of physical labor too. There is a vast difference between being those who were raised as if they were royalty and being those who made the cow dung patties, that is, for the fire, and who were made mechanics. Mhm. He also made you sew slippers. He made you into shoemakers and gardeners too. However, was that labor or a pleasure? You overcame everything, but you always experienced it to be a life of pleasure. Those who became confused ran away, whereas those who remained in pleasure are giving many others the experience of a life of pleasure. Even now, if those 14 years were to be repeated, you would like that, would you not? However, now, if someone has to do even a little physical work at a center, they think, is this why I renounced everything? Am I meant to do this work? To live one's life in pleasure is said to be a Brahmin life. Whether it is ordinary physical work or whether you have to give a speech on a stage to thousands of people, do both with pleasure. This is called living a life of pleasure. Not to be confused and think, I didn't think that to surrender would mean I would have to do all of this. I came here as a teacher. I didn't renounce everything to do this physical work. Is this all a Brahma Kumari life is? This is called a life of confusion. To become a Brahma Kumari means to live with pleasure in your heart, not with physical pleasures. With pleasure in your heart, you will be able to transform any situation or task that is causing confusion into a pleasure. Although you have elevated facilities and everything you have is clear, if you yourself are constantly confused, you create confusion in something that is very clear. While having good facilities, you won't be able to take pleasure in those facilities. How will this happen? This will not happen like this, but like this. You will be confused yourself about that, and you will also confuse others. It is said, when a thread is tangled, that is confused, it is with great difficulty that you are able to untangle it. You would be confused about something good and also about something that causes fear. Because your attitude is confused and your mind is confused. Your attitude automatically then affects your vision. And because of your vision, you see the world as being confused too. A Brahma Kumari life means a life of pleasure, like that of Father Brahma. However, the basis of this is tolerance. So, tolerance is very special. Because of this speciality, Father Brahma always remained unshakable and immovable. Because of this speciality, Father Brahma always remained unshakable and immovable. So let us pause here and just experience Baba's presence and learn from Brahma Baba how he lived a life of tolerance, how he put everything from expansion into its essence. He remembered that there is nothing new and he put a full stop to everything and maintained his tolerance. He emerged his face, always smiling, even in the face of insults or defamations. Baba's life was a life of constant pleasure. And Baba is inspiring us to do the same, not to be confused because of body consciousness, role consciousness, but to experience a life of pleasure like Brahma Baba. And so we walk in his footsteps, in his footstep of tolerance, and enjoy every moment of this life in Baba's company. Om Shanti. Thank you, Baba. Thank you, family. We'll continue the rest of the Murli tomorrow. Sure. Would like to open up if anyone would like to share what we'll take from Baba today. Om Shanti.
Om Shanti. Thank you, Baba. Thank you, Divine Community. Thank you so much. Today is very observed. Album for me, it's a very insight Baba has given at the first surrender. Yeah, in the remembrance of Baba, surrendering him, and we call for God, word, and actions to his remembrance. There is a clear, there is a no confusion. All is clear. So that word I get, it's remembrance is how much of importance is as Brahma Baba also said as an example. So thus we have to follow the footstep of Brahma Baba. Number one, Adidev soul. So that's it. No confusion, only clarity. Clarity gives clear mind gives clarity. Confusion mind gives confusion. And when we are not following Brahma Baba, so we are clear thing, we are making confusion. So that I got inside. Thank you, Baba. Thank you. Thank you, Divine Family. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Vaishi. Very nice. Thanks for sharing.
Om Shanti. So Baba says, how Brahma Baba became number one because of his total surrender and unlimited tolerance. So Brahma became Adidev. So the first creation at the confluence age and the first deity at the start of the new world. So Baba says the number one is the first Brahmin soul, and he became Karmadi the angel first, and he's going to be the first deity in Satyuga as Krishna. So how Brahma Baba became that is, so he made himself a complete surrender, total surrender, mind, body, everything. I mean, he surrendered, and then of course the unlimited tolerance. So tolerance is a very good explanation Baba gave. So we have to, you know, um, we have to have a smile when we are insulted by others. So, um, and so our enemies or whoever insult us, right? We should have a smile on our face. We should not wilt ourselves down, right? And not just that, Baba also say we should have good wishes for them, those who are doing it, and benevolent feelings. So very wonderful Murli on this. Thank you, Om Shanti.
Thank you, Yapai. Om Shanti.
Om Shanti, Saurabai.
Om Shanti, Girijabai.
Life story. I think it started 2 Murlis back. And when it started immediately, I switched on what we do in 18th January, the 18 steps and all. But I remember there in that 18 steps, the first was actually willpower. But here, and there was also another 18 steps, which they called the action steps. So here, when first, even though I'm talking about the second step, I think I should also first revise myself what was the first step. Just the word click, go, you are to become Vishnu, you are to take care of the world. That was only one click which Shiv Baba powerfully did on this. He, of course, consulted his gurus and all when he got that thing. But the next step was he just surrendered everything, all whatever was his body, he made his mind, his wealth, his relation, not even thinking about the future. That's real surrender. If you surrender after keeping something and to keep something for the future, to keep something for your relations and all, no. He transformed everything. So in order to know about the second step, we have to really understand the first step perfectly well. How he transferred all his Lokic relationships into Alokik. Nothing, he didn't leave anything. He transformed everything, his intellect, his eye. Absolute surrender, total surrender. I think we should really go into the detail of that if we are to really understand the surrender. Now, today, the life story continues. when you just say what is the meaning of tolerance, it is actually what, see, if you see the real meaning, it means, and you have an ability to encounter something that is different and without giving any negative opinions. If suppose you debate and then you are ready to accept something, that's not tolerance. It's like, I remember when I did an SML, it's saying, holding my gun, bringing the bullet to the nozzle of the gun, and almost I have to just trigger it. That's the only thing I didn't do. But when you raised the gun and brought the bullet to the nozzle of the gun, there was no tolerance. You should not have lifted the gun, they say. So it's the real meaning of tolerance. It's not just a fair, objective attitude towards others. It's not just that. It is something more. Here, spiritual tolerance, when we are talking about, I think one has to read the Adidev book of thing in order to understand the real life story. Here, Baba has not gone to the life story. He has just told us a few snippets, I would say, about what is tolerance. Of course, in order to understand tolerance, how nicely Shiv Baba gave in the first two paragraphs who is he? He says he's the first creation, he's Krishna. So, see, it's like a guarantee card given to Brahma. He was told, you will become Krishna. You will be the first angel. You will be the first creation. You will not take birth again. All these kind of guarantee cards were given. So was sometimes I used to think, is it that guarantee card which made him surrender? But I don't think he understood. It was the word of Lord Shiva. He he had to surrender. Now, when come, Baba so clearly explains about Brahma's surrender over here, like how we make mountains, a small thing into a big thing. He made the mountain into a ball. He made expansion into essence. And we expand all obstacles in our mind. I think each of these points are by one, we should really take, and we should correlate it to the real life story which he did, which he really tolerated and all. But I also find whenever he had to tolerate insults or anything, there were always his children. For example, when he had to go to the court, he never went to the court. It was Mama who had to go to the court, and Mama had to speak for him. So I was also relating the story of the tolerance through the canopy which he got through all the children over here. So I think it's a very deep step to understand tolerance. A little more highlight we need on this to understand his tolerance. Tolerance is always there, like a tree. You may throw anything on it, but it tolerates and it gives you only the fruit. Was it that kind of tolerance? Or what we should understand the depth of tolerance over here, I think. Not that empty tolerance, कि मैंने सहन कर लिया, मैंने सहन कर लिया, like rattling like that. I think if you could really go into the depth of the tolerance, the real significance of the tolerance, the meaning as well as related to Brahma Baba's life, that would be really wonderful if you could do that. Om Shanti.
Mhm. Yeah, sure, sure. Sure. I think with tolerance, the thought that comes to mind is really the image that we've all understood in the 7-day course is, when a boy throws a stone at the mango tree and the mango tree gives the fruit in return. And so to really be at the, when we are at the receiving end of anything negative, to actually, radiate positive energy. As what Baba was saying in this with Murli of this Sunday, that the power of transformation. is to transform anything negative into positive. So I feel that is what, Brahma Baba really did, is to whatever negativity he was, kind of bombarded with, he would just use Gyan and, his faith, and through that he would transform it into something positive. Like he tolerated so much, we know, like from, outside souls, but also from souls within the Yakya. Om Shanti. Sorry, I think I got muted. There were so many souls who left Baba, who went, away, and but still Baba had good wishes for them. And, many of them then came back later on. And Baba was so like completely stable in the face of all those situations that came his way. And all of that leads to, is because of the power of tolerance. And if we look at what allows a soul to tolerate, is really these feelings of unconditional love and acceptance. When we realize we are all souls, and Baba realized his part, that he is the great great grandfather, that he is the the first one, the Adam, the Adi Dev, that he has to really give demonstrate by example. And so then automatically, then when there's this unconditional love and acceptance, then of course then there is tolerance. Mhm.
But one more feature, like for Brahma Baba, they said tolerance is easy. Tolerance means able to smile no matter what was happening, no matter how much
Mm.
opposition was there. Baba was
Yeah.
smiling. I think that one thing, even, and I think one more feature was he always remained light. He remained light himself and he made others light. Like somebody
Mm.
who, there's the story, who came down to attack him and all. And Brahma
Right.
Baba was unperturbed, unshaken and all thing. And how that soul, I think it was a Sardar or something, if I remember the story. And later how he just changed, it's just different. Like these kind of instances, I think, will really make it much more a visual thing for us
Mm.
to understand. But especially tolerance, tolerance is something, you cannot do it surface. It is something from deep underground. It is
Mm.
something, it's like a tool. You just cannot, on the face value, tolerate. I told you, it's like just waiting to raise your gun, but he had the
Mm.
deep thing. So even if these two things, if suppose like always smiling, sometimes it sounded for me very funny to see what is it, somebody's coming to attack you, kill you, and as if like a big
Mm.
thing, you're smiling all over and all. And but that's what he was. He was a person by light him. I think more of these instances, if really we visualize, and but I don't know
Mm.
why Shiv Baba is feeling shy to speak of those stories. But I think one should go of these stories to, like I feel like reading it, each of the point what Baba has said, with an instance of his life.
Mm.
I think that would be a good correlation. So I was just thinking about the smile. I remembered that story of somebody who came to attack, or he
Mm.
never he always if somebody opposed him today and the next day they came to ask him for forgiveness, he would not say he's forgiving. He's saying it's Baba. Baba is truly forgiving you. Who am I to forgive you? It's Baba. I think just a few things I could remember remotely. That's what I wanted to share.
Mm. Very nice. Very nice.
And the expansion and the essence, that is also very wonderful that Papa said. Yeah. Vinod bhai, go ahead.
Yeah, thank you. It is also very nice that Baba created so many professions, at least made skilled. come into the life of children. There are no formal classes, but still, with the devotion, with the love that Baba's children enrolled themselves and learned these jobs, speak volumes how devotion can change. How love for for a better cause can change a person. Yeah, thank you, Om Shanti.
Mm. Mhm. Right.
Saurabai is tolerant
Yes.
person a weak soul?
I think it's probably the opposite, right? Yeah, it's it's a symbol of strength, really. So, mhm.
But what is important is what is the feeling inside, right?
Mm.
Maybe outwardly he is tolerating, but inward is disturbed. That is sometimes may not see it outside. Yes, but one with tolerance power is really great. But I think from outside, in the sense, Kaliki perspective, if you look at it, one with tolerant, people would judge it as a weak person.
Correct.
Yeah, soul is always stronger, but Maya is dominant. That
Mm.
I want to say. Yeah, weakness is Maya. Only this is Maya. There's a dominance of Maya is more. So that I got insight.
Mm.
What I feel, no, tolerance is like, like a water tank. We have to fill it up with patience. So that filling up is filling up our weakness. If any weaknesses come, no, it's not like that. We fill it up with virtues which are synonymous with tolerance. One of the virtues is patience. Another one is accommodation, power to accommodate. I think if you have take all this power to accommodate, to accept, like the ocean, maybe maybe, but sometimes I often feel some people, they would like to prove the truth. They cannot bear to see truth being submerged. So they just give up. So can you call that as intolerant when they know so much false is going on right down under their eyes? They don't want to sit down and put a finger on their lips and say, no, I'm going to be tolerant. Like the truth needn't be proved, blah, blah, all that stuff and all. So, what is wrong if some people want to just bring the truth to the forefront? So, is that wrong? What do you think, Saurabai? Did Brahma Baba face any time like this kind of encounter?
Mm. Mhm. Yeah, I think so many encounters in Baba's life, they all reveal like what was going on inside him because he was constantly in Shiv Baba's remembrance, and that's what allowed him to, really smile and just see everything as a drama, and because he had this inner, connection and alignment with the truth that allowed him to be stable. you know. So for him, there was no feeling even that he's tolerating, but it's just like the drama is, just playing out, and his whole, attention was to remember Shiv Baba.
Yeah, I think fair enough, you said. So as you were just saying, instead of saying, I need to be understood, that's what an intolerant person really feels. Or
Mm.
I can say, I need to understand, like taking the other person's a subjective view. Or if suppose I say, that person should change. I can say, what to say for that if change. I can say, let me give that person what is needed. Maybe that's what he did. Maybe he always, instead of waiting, he heard the other person more. Now, over here, because I remember I had an instance which Nirvair used to share. The in the earlier days, ice cream was never made in the yagya. So all these few, Nirvair also was a culprit in that. They all went out and they had nice strawberry ice cream and they came back. And when they came back, as usual, Brahma Baba was standing in the courtyard over there, and he said, "Ao bache, ao," and all. And somewhere, something I don't know, I'm not sure of the story, I forgot it. In one of that, the ice cream was seen, and also he asked children where you went and all. And I think one of them said they went for ice cream. Nothing. He never rattled, he never anything. He said, "Mama, कल से आइसक्रीम अभी बनना है बोली दादी को बोल दो." The
Mm.
first one, that was something very. He never said, "Why did you go out and eat ice cream? You're not like we do that, no?" Even in the yagya today, I don't know where it happens. If suppose by chance someone just went out to eat outside or something and all, the accommodative way which he took, I think that's what. Let me give what is needed for them. This is
Mm.
also one such story. So, Rupa, you'll have so many such stories in your thing. I was just
Mm.
thinking about this story.
Mm. Mhm. Right. There is this movie which is just released. I'm sure everyone must have watched Bhagya and there's so many stories and instances on of Brahma Baba. Yeah. Mhm.
So just adding on to the conversation that's going on, in which context are we using tolerance? Because I'm sure the power of discernment is required. Is tolerance to, while we're looking at human beings to come in or to manage situations. But then if there's something which is immoral, something which is not right for the society, not to prove that thing, but then one need to also have the power of courage. One needs to know what is power of tolerance and what is power of courage. How do one discern these different powers? Because if somebody is just like simple practical example, if somebody is continuously doing injustice with another human being and the other human being is just tolerating, now is that tolerance? Somewhere I feel it's not tolerance, it's like just giving up yourself. Now, in that case, probably power of courage is required. Now, how do you distinguish in these things? The power of tolerance is a virtue, absolutely in with that. But then, on the name of tolerance, am I succumbing to the things which are coming up to me? How do I distinguish that? Over to you, Saurabhai, to bring your thoughts on this.
Mhm. Yeah, I think that's a good point. The way you know, have told myself is like, Baba talks about two powers, power to tolerate and the power to face. And so there are two test papers that come. One is through relationships, and the other is through a situation. And I felt like if it is a test paper through relationships, means there's someone's nature that, I just have to accommodate and not react and, not do something bad for them or not think something bad for them. It's like in relationships, generally I would, have to tolerate. But if it is a situation, and in this case, the one you said, like someone is like literally abusing, then it becomes a situation. So at that time, we need to face and we need to stand up to our principles and then face the situation. Or if there is a loss or anything, then I need to face. So that's how I generally differentiate.
Thank you for that, Saurabhai. That's an easy to look at it. Power of tolerance in relationships and power of faces in situations. I think there's two words to remember.
Mhm.
Rakhi, if I could just add to what Saurabhai said, I don't remember who it was. When I was in London, there was a debate on this tolerance. Like it's like you have to know your dancing steps, what step to take whenever you face situations. Like when there's a situation, should I do a tango or should I do a waltz? Like, okay, quick, 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 slow, 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 like a kind of a reading to the mind. Even though it's called as the power to face and all, sometimes the power to face is just an inner strength. But will I be able to stop that abuse, that immoral which is happening over there? No, I cannot. It's not even though I have a power of transformation, I can't. This is what was my first question when I asked him, is the power to tolerate, doesn't it mean succumbing when I hear that? But what I remember is to have our own techniques of really to evict, because I do not want to succumb. I do not want to react. I want to be what I was. I feel this tolerance over here is more connected with the life story of Brahma Baba, his technique, his this. We should go to his mind to read what were the thoughts, what dance steps did he take whenever such given. I just wanted to share when you asked that. Om Shanti.
Very nice.
Shanti, can I share something? Yeah, that's my journey. It's what I feel, the courage and tolerance. Suppose, suppose my family, these are is want to do me job, but I want to do the business. Okay, so so there is a opposition. So in that case, I have to tolerate what they are saying, but I have to show my courage also in that situation to bringing the truth to them. So that is I want to differentiate about courage and tolerance. Om Shanti. I just correlate, that's why I share. Om Shanti.
Very nice. Sure.
Om Shanti. And just adding one reflection, sometimes intolerance is also required. I think this point also came subtly that we need to have a zero tolerance for our own yeah, weaknesses or shortcomings, uh, so that it adds on to our purusharth. The soul can progress. So when we do checking and changing, and we find that some particular habit or sometimes some kind of a thought pattern is kind of becoming a barrier to our self progress, then that particular there should be intolerance in that, and we need to be taking step towards that with determination to eliminate those kind of past belief systems or kind of the thinking patterns, and that's basically the sanskars. The change of sanskars or transformation will happen when we have zero tolerance towards the past kind of sanskars or the 63 birth sanskars. So here the soul should not tolerate. And of course, others' shortcomings or others' kind of weaknesses or others' kind of 63 birth sanskars, we should be able to tolerate that and see that in a different perspective, that today it's just because they have the sanskar, but the eternal and the Adi original Swarup is a deity form, and so they have those sanskars, original ones, very pure. So this is just a transformation they are going through. Om Shanti.
Very nice. Sure.
Saurabha, in the interest of time, invite you for a short meditation.
So take a moment and go within. And realize that the spiritual life, Brahman life with Baba, is a life of pleasure. As we follow in Brahma Baba's footsteps, second step of tolerance. And just like Baba, we imbibe tolerance at every step in our every relationship. And we reveal Baba through our tolerance. Om Shanti. Thank you.
Om Shanti. Thank you to Baba. Thank you, Saurabai. Thank you, Divine Family. See you tomorrow at 5 a.m. Until then, have a beautiful day.